Cavaliauskas was the Mean Machine. He did say Mean Machine hit hard as hell. That's the one where he got dropped, but he pushed him. He tripped a little bit because it really wasn't from a punch. He slipped over his foot. It was Mean Machine. That dude just kept coming and he wouldn't stop. It's like the first couple of rounds, he just had Bud's number because he would punch before Bud, and he would punch after Bud. He would time me in between. It's like, damn dude, let's pick it up, man. You need to pick it up. Yeah, because I watched the fight. I watched the fight, bro. I became a fan, I ain't gonna lie. I always keep it real on the front page. I became a fan of Terence Crawford, bro. I've always loved the sport, but when you're not on the co-main or the main card, you really don't see who's fighting, you know what I'm saying? But when I first laid eyes on Bud, he did Gamboa in. That was my coming out party for knowing who Bud was. We had a fight party at the homie's house. I ain't even gonna lie, I knew who Yuri Ortiz Gamboa was. And I was like, oh no, the brother looks like he could do something. But that's Gamboa. You feel me? But bro, when he went out there and dog-walked Gamboa, I was like, this little dude is the truth right here. Ain't nobody gonna whoop him here, because Gamboa was the dog back then. Yeah. He was the man. How did it feel reaching that level right there? You knew it was over for Gamboa. Let me give you this funny-ass story, dude. Come on now. This is funny as hell. I think we were like 12-0 or 11-0 or something like that. Gamboa was the headliner, and we were fighting on the undercard. We did our first 8-rounder. So, Gamboa won, Bud won. So we're sitting out in the audience and we're like, men, let me meet Gamboa, man. I want to take a picture with him. We're sitting around while everybody's clearing out. I said, man, let's go. Oh man, I want to meet that boy. Forget him, I said. You might fight that dude one day. Man, let's go, dude. Man, I want to meet him. I said, dude, you might fight that dude one day. Let's go. Let's go. I know everybody has seen the logo at the bottom of the screen on the front page. That's right, baby, Alky water. Now, y'all can scan that QR code and make sure y'all try some of that crisp water out there, man. Tell them the front page sent you. That's how we keep everybody freshly hydrated on the show, baby. Alky. All right, man. So, he's steadily looking back at the door like they're gonna open it up and say, come on in. Take the picture. I said, every time I tell him, remember that day, dog? He's like, yeah, I remember that day, man. After. Hey man, I love the stories we hear on the front page, man. That stuff is crazy. He waited around for Gamboa. He was like, boy, come on. You're gonna whoop his ass later on in life. Come on. Don't wait on this boy. Arthur, I love that. That was in Atlantic City, man. Atlantic City. I love that story, bro. Hey, Terence Crawford, you see he told you right, bro? You ended up putting hands on him because he had you waiting, man. You feel me? Like you were just a groupie out there. We don't play that about Bud, man. But what was the question? I'm sorry. No. I was just saying, man, that story took me deep now. I forgot the question. But I do have another follow-up question because, you know, I work quick on the front page. Now, when you're building a killer, right, and you know this man is hardworking, he listens to everything you tell him, and he does everything to the T. As you start getting to 14-0, 15-0, 16-0, 17-0, sometimes 20-0, I know a fighter can start smelling himself a little bit. Like, hold on, man. You really can't tell me nothing. I'm in here working. Was there ever a time where you had to be like, Bud, I don't care what your record is, homie. You better go over there and do these workouts right here. That's what's gonna help you win. Did he ever jump out of line at any time because he was feeling himself? No. See, even though he's entitled to feel that way because he put the work in, you feel me? But you know how some fighters and trainers are nowadays. Oh, never. I mean, we had our arguments, and we had our pullbacks and everything, but one thing about me, Bud, and the team, man, it was like on-the-job training. It was on-the-job learning. Oh, JD and shit. We didn't have a big trainer behind us trying to show us which way to go. We had to figure it out every day while working out. How many rounds to do here? How many rounds to do there? How many weeks do we have? We're 6 weeks out. Alright, let's do this much. Oh man, we're doing too much. That's too soon. We shouldn't be doing this many rounds. Alright, let's cut it back. Then we'd get to a certain week in camp and be like, oh, we need to pick it up. Oh no, we don't want to peak too fast. So, that give and take throughout the years, man, kept us humble. More than anything, it kept him humble because we learned it together, you know? And so, whenever anything comes up, we can always go back and say, well, this is how we did it when we were at this level, or this is how we did it when we were at that level. Let me give you a good example. Just the other day, I don't know if you know a fighter I've got by the name of Lester Martinez. Is that the one who came by the barber shop that day when you first came? No, I don't think he was in there. Okay. Lester Martinez, he just fought in Billy. He fought on Bud Crawford's undercard with Canelo Alvarez. Okay. So, I was talking to him and I said, yeah man. Matter of fact, I'm on the phone with these guys right now so we can schedule our next camp. Because, you know, he got a little tired. He's like, Bo, if anybody knows how to do camp, it's us. We got that down to a T. It took years for him to say that. Years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now we've got it down to a T because of all the ups and downs we went through during camp. And for him to even think about leaving, or for me to think about leaving him, I wouldn't even do that, and he wouldn't do it either because, hey man, we built this together. And that's how it's supposed to go, bro. When you both come out the mud together, you celebrate the blood together. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that's a bar right there on the front page. You come out the mud together, you share the blood together. You know what I'm saying? Now that's dope, bro, because I love y'all's relationship. And me knowing now that you've had him since he was 7, you feel me? I thought maybe it was since he was 13 or 14, but since 7? That's still grade school, you feel me? So, really, when the chemistry goes wrong between a trainer and a fighter, I think sometimes the fighter gets beside himself, you know what I'm saying? Thinking they're missing something. But really, in reality, man, if you've got that amateur trainer who got you to an amateur national title, he can get you to a world title too. You know what I'm saying? He needs a chance just like you got a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hear that, you amateur fighters? If that man got you to become an amateur champion, he can get you to become a world champion. You just gotta stay down like a bloodhound, you feel me? For real, man. And when it's all said and done, right, BoMac, how do you want your name to be remembered as a trainer in the sport when you're done training? I just loved it, man. I just love boxing. It's in my blood. I want people to look at me like I was one dedicated trainer. Hell yeah. You know, more than anything, I'm dedicated to the fighter. Because without the fighter, there wouldn't be no boxer, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, you've got to take care of the boxer. You've got to take care of the fighter. You've got to nurse him just like a baby. You've got to guide them, man. You know what I'm saying? And they look at you for guidance. You know, they've got the manager and they've got the promoter, but you're the one with the fighter every single day. You're the one putting in the work with him every single day. You know his UPS. You know his downs. You know his wants. You know his needs. You're the trainer. That's your baby, man. You know what I'm saying? And not only is he looking at you, his family is looking at you too. Like, you gonna take care of my baby? The mom, the dad, the brother. Man, you got my little brother. I got him, man. Just relax. I want the world to look at me like not only was he a boxing trainer, but he was also a father figure. He was an uncle, you know what I'm saying? He was a big brother. He was a leader. He was a spiritual leader. Mentally, this dude got us to that next level. Yes, sir. That's how I want them to look at me, man. And they will too, bro, because the man trains the baddest man on the planet, man. For sure. My next question, I gotta know. When y'all got that Errol Spence Jr. phone call and found out y'all got the fight, did you know it was over? It was over before it was over. After? You said you knew it was over because I knew y'all was going to win. But the way it happened, though, you feel me? That kind of made me think, damn. I mean, I had no doubt at all. I knew Bud Crawford would win the fight, but the fashion he did it in? I was like, damn. You feel me? Like, I know that feeling, man. After that, the sky was the limit. I mean, the whole thing was, nothing is ever guaranteed until you step in the ring, for sure. So, we went through that with Manny Pacquiao, trying to get the fight and thinking we were going to get the fight. But the Spence thing went on for a while. It lingered and lingered. We thought we were going to get the fight, then they were going to do it on this date, then that fell off. Another year goes by, then this, then that. Then we brought different guys in, different people in, to help out and try to get us to that level where, okay, we got that fight locked in. Once the fight got locked in, I already knew we were gonna win. You already knew? I knew before they even started talking about it when Bud moved up to 147 because that was the whole mission. That was the mission when he first got that belt from Jeff Horn. Okay, we're gonna be undisputed at that fight was the goal too, right? I was at that fight. I was at that Jeff Horn fight. So once we said that, once we got that title and started getting more and more titles, the end goal was always clear. Whoever had the belts, that was it. And he just so happened to have those 3 titles over there. It was a wrap after that, dog. Now, do you think there'll ever be another fighter who does what he did? Go through 4 weight classes and claim all the belts in every class? It might happen because he's the only one to do it in history, right? You can never say never, but right now, I can't see nobody doing it. You know what I'm saying? But we hope so. That's what we want as boxing fans because if you see a guy come into the sport and gain statuses like that, I mean he's very dominant. That's a once-in-a-lifetime, generational fighter right there. Oh hell yeah he is. You know what I'm saying? Hell he is. Because I don't know what? Manny Pacquiao went through 8 divisions, but he didn't unify. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather Jr. went up a lot of divisions, but he didn't become undisputed. This brother unified every... No, they unified, but they never became undisputed, right? Undisputed means all the belts in the ring. All the belts. Yeah. In the ring. So, he cleared out every division. It's like, man, what did you instill in him? Did you feed him gunpowder? I mean, it's just the hunger he has as a person. He's just a very competitive person, And then it's just the will to win. I remember when we lost in the trials and I was mad, crying and stuff. He looked at me and said, "What you crying for, dog? I don't give a damn about the Olympics. I want to be a world champion." Yeah, for sure. I wanted him to go to the Olympics. That was me trying. That was me. After. I wanted to be the first one in Omaha to have an Olympic fighter, you know what I'm saying? A guy on the Olympic team. We had some guys get close, but we never had someone actually make the team. And he was good enough to make the team, but he got blackballed, man. Blackballed? Yeah, man. They do that to fighters they know are gonna whoop their guys' asses. You know what I'm saying? They try to blackball the real ones all day long. Now, when that Canelo Alvarez call came, right? Did you feel like you didn't even have to watch tape on Canelo when y'all got that call? I watched him. I watched him real good. I've been watching Canelo for years. Yeah, for sure. For years and years and years because he's a hell of a fighter. Damn good fighter. Hell of a fighter. Damn good fighter. But as a trainer, you've got to know what type of fighter you have for sure. You've got to know that your fighter can adapt to that style. Not just that style, but any style that comes into the ring, man. Yeah. And as a trainer, you've got to adapt too. You, your team, the nutritionist, the guy carrying the bag, everybody needs to adapt to that style in order to get that win. Because granted, he's out there banging, but it starts in the damn gym. The dude starts in the gym, you know what I'm saying? That thing starts in the gym. But how did y'all get him so lethal with both hands, though, bro? Like, he goes southpaw like he was born fighting southpaw, right? You feel me? That's hard, bro. How did you instill that? He had broken his hand or messed up his hand after getting into a fight at school, but he didn't want to stay out of the gym. So, he came into the gym and started working the jab with his right hand. I think he was around 12 or 13 years old, and then he just stayed on that side sometimes, then went back and forth, back and forth. It became just like walking, man. Because he switches so naturally. I'll be like, he went southpaw, old boy some problems now. He went southpaw. He about to give old boy problems. Do y'all tell him, alright this round go southpaw? Alright this round go orthodox? Sometimes early in his career we did. But I noticed you've got to let him do it naturally, because if you tell him to switch southpaw or go back orthodox, he might get popped upside the head, and then you're like, goddamn. Laughter, it kind of messed things up. Shut up, man. Just shut up and let the kid fight. You know what I'm saying? I dig that. So after a while, he's got to feel it himself. He's got to be able to see it. We might see it, but he might not see it yet. He always tells me, man, Bo, I ain't gonna do that in the ring. So I tell him, well, let's at least work on it. Just in case we might need to use it at some point during a fight. He'll say, alright, we'll work on it, but I don't think I'm gonna have to use that. But still, let's work on it, you know? So that's how I look at it, man. So what round did you know Bud Crawford had it in the bag before the final bell rang? Yeah, pretty much before the fight even started. Pretty much, man. Clears throat. Because I've been a Canelo Alvarez fan ever since Floyd Mayweather Jr. beat him, right? That's when I really found out about Canelo. I knew a little about him before that, but after Floyd beat him, I really started watching him and following his whole career. So when the fight was first announced, I kinda scratched my head because I'm a Bud fan, but I was like, oh no, that's Canelo. That boy big man. I don't know. But then I saw an interview, right? And Bud said, nah, no rehydration clause. I don't care if he comes into the ring at 200 pounds. And when I heard him say that, I said, yeah, he gonna whoop Canelo's ass. Yeah. I said, yeah, he gonna beat Canelo. He don't care how much he weighs. You got Tank Davis worried about how much Ryan Garcia is gonna rehydrate and putting clauses in contracts, and other fighters do it too. But what made y'all not afraid of that weight? Was it just the skill set y'all knew he had? No, man. We've sparred bigger guys in the gym and fought bigger guys all the time. But he's really a big dude. But me, as a trainer, I try to melt the guys down as much as possible. If I can melt you down, you take advantage of that weight for sure. As long as we've got the right people helping us rehydrate afterward, we'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, you get to a point where it's like, okay B, you can't melt him down to 135 anymore. Let him move up. Let his body grow. But when you look back on it, we won titles at 135. We took advantage of the weight. We got paid at that weight. And now it's time to move up. That's a feather in the cap. You know what I'm saying? You challenge yourself. As a trainer, I challenge the fighter. As a fighter, you challenge yourself. You know you can do it. Then later on, you look back and say, oh man, I really did that. Yeah. But during those years, you're like, oh man, I gotta move up. Man, I gotta move up. But if you eat right, get proper rest, proper training, your body is naturally gonna settle at the weight it's supposed to be before you even start cutting weight. You've already got 10 to 15 pounds of water weight in you that you can cut.